Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us for the inaugural episode of the Fluree Video Podcast, where we aim to bring you short, one-topic videos on blockchain, decentralization, and everything in between, with a specific focus on enterprise deployment. I'm here with co-founder and co-CEO of Fluree, and today we're talking about a very hot topic, GDPR and blockchain. Now, why is GDPR and blockchain such a hot topic? Because on one side, we have the right to be forgotten, and on the other side, we have the inability to be forgotten, where data deletion is imperative and data deletion is impossible. So from your perspective, Brian, why are these two topics butting heads?
It's a good question. I thought you were just going to do the whole thing there. So I'm not even sure what I'm going to add at this point. No, so it's a hot topic. It's probably more a controversial topic. The idea of immutability for blockchain is, of course, incredibly powerful. The idea that you can prove anything historically, but it is, of course, at odds when you want to remove information. And that's why there's, to a degree, controversy of how do we balance these sort of the benefits of immutability with the privacy concerns and the right to be forgotten of individuals. So there's a number of approaches. I guess I'll cut to the chase on what I would typically recommend is that I don't think you should put any privacy data on the blockchain at all, and then you never have to deal with this issue. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we made our applications any more useful, because when we're looking at our apps inside of a business, we need to combine that private data, the personal data, along with information. Imagine, a doctor looking at health records but not knowing who they're for, or any other scenario like that. But I think the right way to handle this is we actually push the privacy data and combining that with immutable blockchain data, we push it up a tier in the application stack. So, and this is one of the reasons I love Sparkle queries, the idea that you can actually combine queries across multiple data sources. So what you can do is you can actually store privacy-related data in one data source. It doesn't really matter what it is. Store the information that needs to be immutable but has no privacy data in it on the blockchain. And at the app level, one layer up, actually have your queries combine that data so that it looks like it's all stored in the same database to your application. You can still delete the privacy data if and when you need to, and you still have the immutability benefits of the data where it matters the most.
So in navigating this legislation, it really comes back to the architecture at the beginning, where you're going to be putting information and how you're going to be joining that data back together on the app tier.
Yeah, it is. I think it's an application architecture struggle, and not necessarily a blockchain struggle. I mean, it's always important to put data in sources to hold it that makes sense for the type of data you're collecting. And as much as we want to spin it, putting privacy information that possibly needs to be deleted by regulation, putting it in an immutable blockchain, don't put it there. It doesn't really make sense there. Now, if you really, really want to put it there, there are some other options, although I don't love any of them. One is you encrypt the data. And if each person has a separate encryption key, you always have the ability to shred the encryption key. And now the data there that's privacy oriented, it can't be decoded in the future.
Right.
With one caveat. Well, what if computing advances to the point that it can reverse engineer some of that information? So that's obviously a concern. Something when you think about quantum computing is, okay, we can't decode it today, but in 10 years, could we decode it? And therefore, it truly wasn't forgotten. I would just avoid the whole thing altogether. Just don't put it there. Have a technology that allows you to combine sources of data as though they're a single source further up the stack. And that's certainly something that we've focused on enabling with FlureeDB and especially our support of the Sparkle query interface.
So on the high level, is GDPR a blockchain killer? We hear that phrase thrown around all the time.
Yeah, and I don't think it needs to be at all, I'd say just keep it out of the blockchain. That it can't kill what it's not inside.
Well, cool. Thank you so much. If you have comments, suggestions, questions, or compliments, leave them in the comments or email us at support@flure.ee. Thanks for joining, Brian, and thanks for giving us your thoughts on GDPR.
Thanks.